There goes my light. Hey, welcome back to the garage, everyone. All right, so this weekend, I have no idea what we're going to do this weekend. Probably listen to the jet go overhead while I try to record my video. But I think I'm going to try to be a little lower key this weekend. A little, less intensity this weekend. The reason why, I'm kind of burnt out on working on cars. I am fed up to here. Reason why? Well, the Cadillac nearly whooped me. I'll tell you what. Yep, the old girl's done. Except for, man, we can't have that. Look at that. Let's get that out. There we go. Now, except for one last piece right here. So you can get a $1,400 set of Diamondbacks, which have the double sidewall white walls, the wide white one and the thinner white. Anyway, you get it, but we're not doing that. So I'm going with just a single thin white wall tire because, hey, that's what's available. And this is a Nexen N-Priz 235 75 15. And I got these in from PriorityTire.com. $353 shipped. That was a coupon. So that is a pretty good deal. But that's not going to happen until Monday when the tire shop opens, because it's Friday and the tires just got to the house. So I've already made arrangements for the guys down there to put the tires on for me anyway. What I'll probably do is get the Cadillac on the lift and just take all the wheels and tires down there to them and just say, have at it, and I'll haul everything back to the house and put them on the car. I told them, nah, don't worry about road hazard. Don't worry about rotations. I'll do all that later. And I got a set of Hankooks on here. They've only got 7,000 miles on, or no, about 9,000 miles on them. They never really rode that good. They're kind of noisy. And I know these N-Priz are smooth and quiet because they were on I had a set of N-Priz on the Volkswagen, black wall, mind you. But man, they were quiet and they were smooth. I really liked them. So they didn't last very long because they're only 50 or 60,000 mile tires. But, well, anyway, you get it, right? So what I'm probably going to do is see if I can sell these Hankooks on the Facebook market. Maybe get $100 for them. So that put me in $253 at Priority Tire cost on tires. So probably $100 to $120 down at the tire shop to have everything mounted for me. So that would put us right at $450 for a brand new set of tires installed, although they won't have rotation. But I don't really care because I've had the car 9 years and I've driven it, 8 or 9,000 miles. So, who cares if they're 20,000 mile tires, whatever. So anyway, but these are 50,000 mile tires, and that's more than adequate. So, and you know what? Even if you do buy the Coker or you do buy the Diamondback, the really nice wide white wall tires that you put on the Cadillac, or even Vogue, they're all made in Thailand anyway, and China. Who cares, right? The only classic type tire that I've seen that's made in the USA is the BF Goodrich. And boy, are they pricey. They're like $375 a piece or something like that. Anyway, I'm done spending money on the Cadillac. This is what I'm doing. So, nothing on the Cadillac this weekend, although we might do a little detailing. Anyway, but there's a big car race coming up here, April 27th, and I've got to get the motorhome ready, and I've got a few things to do. I think maybe we'll start with that. So up next, I think we're going to do an oil change on the Onan, or is it Onan? Cummins bought them anyway, who cares? 7,500 watt quiet diesel. We'll do that next. So first thing we're going to have to do is level the motorhome, because you don't want to change the oil in your generator when it's, not level. So that's pretty dumb. You wouldn't do that to your car. You wouldn't do that to your diesel generator either. So if you're an RVer, you're probably going to have some wood in your RV to help level your motorhome. What we're going to do is put these underneath the hydraulic rams. Let's see, where are they? There's one of them right there. You probably can't see it. We're going to put some wood under the hydraulic rams, and then we'll get inside the motorhome and then raise this thing up, and then we'll go ahead and crank up the generator. let it warm up for a little bit, and we'll change the oil. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put this wood underneath each hydraulic ram all the way around the motorhome, and then we'll go inside and raise her up. Got a little trash laying around here. Got to clean this place up. Got to turn on the key. And the JVC, it likes to come on. Not turn on the key. I made a mistake. Don't do that. We need to turn it to the accessory button, but it's still the same case. Yeah, there we go. So it has a default volume setting, so like that. So I've got to turn that down. We don't need a backup camera just yet. So, all right, activate HWH hydraulics. This is an old unit, by the way, so a little rattly, but it gets the job done. Let's go ahead and let's raise the front of the motorhome. You put the wood underneath there so it starts doing something right away, you know. All right, let's raise the back now. Can't see that, but we can feel it. Any day now, my ass will get higher. Yep, there it goes. Let's check on our level. This is not an auto leveling deal. This is like a, it's not an auto leveling deal here. We're going to do it manually. And believe it or not, yes, I have a little bubble level on the countertop. So the bubble is here. It needs to be over there. So we got to come up this way. The front of the RV needs to be raised, and the right-hand side, passenger side, needs to be raised. Raise the right-hand side. Let's see what that did. I'm sure more sophisticated RVers have a much better way of doing this, but that is what it is. So we're going to go diagonal. All right, I'm going to finish leveling this thing up, and then we'll fire up the generator. So let's go for some more right side action. Little front action. I think we're almost there. We're there. So let's go ahead and activate the generator. You can turn on the generator in this old coach two ways. You got a button here, and you have a button back here in the control center, which is right here. So we got test. That's your test lights. Shows status of everything. There's your water pump. We're not going to turn that on. And this is your water heater. Okay. This slides the slide in and out. We'll do that later. And here's your electrical panel. It tells you what's going on with your inverter and your charger. But right now we're going to start the generator. And I can hear it priming fuel. Usually, there it goes. Takes probably 10, 12, 15 seconds to prime fuel, and then it fires immediately. And that's why they call it a quiet diesel, because it is running. There's the exhaust pipe right there. And the generator is right in there. You might be green, you can probably see it. You can see how quiet it is. You wouldn't have it any other way in a Class A RVing campsite, now would you? So I'm going to let this run for about 5 minutes or so, and then we'll crawl up underneath there and do an oil change. I'll be back. All right, actually, that was the warm-up phase for the generator, and it's actually quieting down now. Now that it's past the warm-up phase, and I just kind of wanted you to hear how much quieter it was even now. So you may or may not be able to tell in the video. You can go back to the previous half a minute ago and see how loud it was, and then compare it to what's now, and it's even quieter. It's seriously, it's a wonderful little unit. If you had to buy this thing, if this thing were to give up the ghost, 10 grand, that was a year ago I checked. You had to go buy that generator, brand new, $10,000 just for that generator. I can only imagine what it is nowadays. All right, I think we're about ready here. Got our catch can. Got our 17 millimeter. This quiet diesel generator doesn't use a standard plug for oil. It uses an NPT, National Pipe Thread plug. I have no idea why they decided to do that. But look at that, not a drop spilled. That's never happened to me in my life, actually. Got a little warmth to it. These old generators, they run pretty cool, actually. So, in the oil filter, I do this every year, and I have to remember where everything is. I think the oil filter is in this. Yeah, you squeeze that, and you drop that down, and the oil filter's up in there. We'll get to that here shortly, as soon as this is done draining. I think this thing holds 3 quarts. So yeah, ooh, look at that. We've got a twofer. I'll have to clean that mess up later. All right, we're all done with that. Now you just don't want it. You're not going to have a hard stop on this NPT thread lug. You're just not. It's going to be snug. You're done. First time I ever changed oil in this thing, I was thought to myself, oh Lord, this thing is screwed up. But thankfully, no. All right, well, let's change our filter next. All right, it's up in there. Wish me luck. See if we can get our wrench in there. There we go. All right, yeah, I should be able to get it by hand now. Yep, there we go. The glamorous life of owning a Class A diesel pusher RV. I tell you what. All right, I would say I would just let that drain out of there and then remove it, but I'm impatient. There's actually this is a little funnel ledge right here. You can't really see it, but they built a little funnel ledge here for the oil to drain properly into a bucket or whatever. There we go. I need my headlight. Let me go get my headlight before I try to manipulate this new filter up in there. I'll be right back. And we got a genuine green labeled Cummins Onan oil filter. I think this makes the 4th oil change I've done. I do it once a year. Bought it in the spring of 21. And no, there's no gasket stuck to the inside of the generator. No, I'm not gonna, well, I'll put a little dirty oil on there. That'll be fine. It's a diesel, it's just gonna get dirty in a microsecond anyway. That is my destination. That is the fuel filter. I'm not changing that right now. It's a pain. We're just doing the oil filter. Careful. No cross-threading now. All right, we'll button her up, go up top, and put some oil in it. All right, ignore the springtime pollen mess. That will be part of the pre-Talladega preparation to wash all that mess off. So this hood design is a bit weird. It raises up like that and cantilevers down. And it's got this complicated set of arms. This it's weird, man. So, and it's attached to the hood with wooden blocks encased in fiberglass, kind of a marine style of construction, I guess you might say. And all this stuff was rotten when I bought the motorhome, and they actually had this thing adhered to the motorhome with a screw right there. Figuring out how to repair this, I had to take a lesson in marine construction So all these, there's actually a video on this, a very extensive video on how I repaired this. And bottom line is, it's not just wood. There's nuts embedded in the wood, and they're epoxied in, and these bolts go into actual nuts that are embedded in the wood and covered over with fiberglass. So it's, trust me, it's good. So let's go ahead and just get our dipstick out of there. And I had to buy a new one of these. The old one was broken off, so that's what she looks like. All right, let's get some oil in this thing. Chevron Delo 1540 heavy duty diesel oil here. Not too fast now. So I think it holds about 3 quarts. All right, I got it full, but we got to circulate it and get the filter full. We'll go ahead and fire it up, turn it back off, and check it again. Contact. It's got a low oil thing on it too, so you know, if it's got a problem with something, it'll be all right. It's not going to let itself run dry oil. So I always get a little paranoid when I do this, because I only do it once a year, and well, you know, you forget things. Like how dirty it is. Oh my gosh. All right, I'll let that run for a minute, then I'll be right back. You know, I completely forgot about the fact, seriously, I completely forgot about the fact that there is a generator start button here and a circuit breaker. I could have just started the generator from right there. I'm so silly. All right, there we go. So it reads reads correctly on the back side that's not graduated. On the front side, it looks silly. It looks like, oh, it's full. No, it's not. See there? All right, we got a full oil crankcase, whatever you want to call it. So that drudgery is over. I always kind of dread doing that. Crawling underneath this thing is not the most fun thing in the world, and I don't have a lift that's, well, big enough to lift a 26,000 pound motorhome. So yeah, all right, well, let's move on. We got other things to do this weekend, you know. All right, moving on. We have got to clean up the shop. It's done got way out of hand. I've been using my stairs as storage shelves. Entirely unacceptable. I wanted to turn the upstairs part into an office, and have never gotten around to it. And I really want to do that, but I sure as hell can't if I don't have stairs. So I've got to get a proper metal cabinet to store my old engine parts in. So that's what we're doing today. We're heading up to Leeds, Alabama, and we're going to pick up a used metal shop cabinet. Looks pretty good, and got a good deal on it, so it's going to be nice. We got a Borg Warner Super T10 out of the Corvette, just sitting there. I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to keep it. So, but it's got to be in a cabinet. We got the heads off of the Corvette. I got rear trailing arms off of the Cadillac. I got a couple of distributors, you know, 2 or 3 water pumps, 2 or 3 fuel pumps, just a whole bunch of stuff, right? And it's just sitting around. I'm not going to get rid of it, because that would be foolish. Because most of that stuff still works, and the stuff that doesn't can be rebuilt. So that's kind of, I want to keep it around. Anyway, that's my plan. And so I'm going to go ahead and get this new cabinet, get it back to the shop, and we'll get all our junk put in the new cabinet and get the stairs cleared away, do a little cleanup, and we'll move on to the next item on our agenda for the weekend, which is, I have no idea. Well, I guess that plug back there is never going to get used. Never has been used anyway, so what does it matter? And the arm swings wide enough to let any vehicle drive in. So, of course, you know, there's that. But, you know, that's no big deal. So, all right. I got the shelves right there. Let me load them up. Then we're going to take all that mess on the stairs and we'll get it in the cabinet. right, I am seriously whooped. It's been hours and hours and hours. I spent most of the day cleaning up this shop. And I've still got a little more to go, but only about, let's say 5 or 10% remaining. Wow, what a monumental task it was. As you know, I had spent the last couple of years restoring the Corvette and basically restoring the Cadillac, although I didn't do anything to the body and the interior, but pretty much everything else. So anyway, and over here, lo and behold, I have my shelf back. There's no more old Corvette parts sitting in the way. Top of the bench, not great, but way better than it was. So, and look at what we have here. This is called stairs, believe it or not. And you can actually walk up them when there's no car parts in the way. You can actually go up here, right? And I'll show you guys what's been going on up here. I've actually insulated this whole little area up here, and I've got a bunch of office stuff up here. I've got to get this squared away, and so yeah, so I hauled some plywood up here, and I got to finish walling this up, and hopefully one day I'll make an office out of it. Will that ever happen? Couldn't tell you. But how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? One of my favorite parts of this shop is walking down this staircase because you have this huge open area here. And anyway, it's just kind of neat. So, yeah. Anyway, we're all cleaned up. I'm going to put my sawhorses away, and then, yeah, tomorrow is another day. All right, it is Monday, and we have taken our wheels and tires and had them changed out. Got the new Nexons on here, and we're going to get this blue stuff off of here, but I had heard that just good old hot water would do the trick. Let's, yeah, how about that? So I got a utility sink in the garage, and I poured some hot water in there, in my bucket there. And this was just an experiment. I don't have much in the bucket. I may have to go get some more. But yeah, that hot water just melts that blue stripe right away, doesn't it? There you go. How about that for a handy trick? Got a little blue tinge to it left, but I think maybe a touch of super clean and that brush might just do the trick on that. Let me grab that real quick. Before we do that, let's just take some cold water and see what happens here. Yeah, we need a little touch of the purple stuff, I think. Let me tell you something. When I was growing up, you didn't take this much work to get the blue stuff off tires. The guy would just come over, grab a water hose, and spray it right off. It was not a big deal. Now, I think they've changed the formulation of this stuff for whatever reason. All right, there we go. Pretty easy. And let me go ahead and finish up the rest of the tires, and we'll get them on the Cadillac. All right, it's been 2.5 weeks since my last video. Been several days since my last bit of recording. And I think I'm getting over my burnout. So anyway, I was headed down the interstate, giving the old Cadillac a really proper, shakedown. And got her up to 80. That's about as fast as I want to go in that car anyway. And just no need in it, really. And I couldn't help but think to myself, it's great and all, but it's just not quite there. So, and I'm just way too picky. I get it. I'm thinking to myself, this ride, I've got brand new tires on the car, and the ride is like, what's going on with that? Why would the ride? Oh yeah, I think I put Monroe Sensatrax on this car. I either put Monroe Sensatrax or OE Spectra. Yeah, OE Spectrum. Monroe's. So yeah, OE Spectrum, which I've had them on other cars before. I just never, you know, they're okay, but it seems like they're too, you know, they're too stiff. Now, granted, the car handles really well. Man, I can take turns. No problem whatsoever. It actually handles really well for a land yacht. You'd be shocked, and I think it's because of those shocks. However, I don't really care about handling all that much. I know that sounds stupid, but I want to go down the interstate like this. Just floating. It doesn't float. It just doesn't float. It goes down the interstate like this. Okay? It's not the tires because they're brand new. You should have felt it before with the square tires because they had flat spots on them, you know, because the car's set up for a long time. Anyway, you get it. We're not done smoothing the ride out just yet. So I had no idea that back in the day this car came with hydraulic shocks. Why? Because I know nothing about shocks. So apparently shocks used to be hydraulic. Now they're not. Now they're all gas. There's a few hydraulic shocks here and there, but they're stupid expensive. If you go to, there is a company online that sells you some hydraulic shocks. I'm not going to mention who they are because I don't want to throw them under the bus because their product may be fantastic. But it's $600 to put a set of shocks on this car. That's not happening. And another reason why I think, and this is just my own personal theory, gas charged shocks are pretty much all you're going to get nowadays is simply because cost of manufacturing. It's cheaper to make the gas charged shock than it is because it's just nitrogen gas. 78% of the air around you is nitrogen gas, right? So it's cheap. It's cheaper than hydraulic oil, I can guarantee you that. Furthermore, all the shock absorber companies are going to just be dying to tell you how fantastic gas charged shocks are for you because, well, why? Because it's cheap for them to make. So anyway, enough ranting. I went off, and usually I associate Gabriel with crap and cheapness, and it could be. Sorry, Gabriel, but that's just perception on my part. It's probably completely wrong. So I did find that Gabriel makes a shock they call the Classic. From what I gather, this is supposed to be kind of maybe simulates the original ride of the old hydraulic shocks. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments down below. I really couldn't tell you, but on their website, it does say that these are meant for older classic vehicles. That's why they call them the Classic. So I'm kind of hoping these will ride more like a, an old hydraulic shock. This is the 82601 Classic Gabriel, made in Mexico. There you go. And anyway, these are the fronts. The rears will be here tomorrow, which is Friday. So, yay! Looks like a shock. Made in Mexico. Blah 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 blah. Let me check this. What does that look like over here? Yep, that matches the ones I got on there exactly, which is pretty cool. And that should be a quick and dirty swap out. So I'm hoping these will give me the floaty, zero feel ride that I really enjoy. Next up on our agenda, so we're basically done with the Cadillac now, right? But so everything from here on is simply going to be refinement and tweaking, right? So a few years ago, I replaced the muffler. Well, a couple of years ago, I replaced the muffler. I put a Walker sound effects on there. It's like the cheapest one I could find at O'Reilly. And I put a silencer on there on the very back, a resonator rather. And it's still way too loud. It sounds great for a muscle car. Don't get me wrong. But this particular muffler, you can go back to one of the previous videos too. the sound has got this sort of a whistling, high-pitched clip or clicking sound. And I don't really like it. Even my dad, I drove the car to my dad's place last year sometime. He's like, when are you gonna get a muffler? Well, I got one. He goes, well, it's not very good. I was like, yeah, you're right. So I got to looking around for a more quiet type muffler, and I came up with the Walker Quiet Flow. So, that is a part number 21856, made in the USA. That's pretty cool. No tariffs on this rascal. I saw some pictures on Amazon that were completely wrong. So I saw some dude post a photograph on Amazon or somewhere, and it said that the hole on the intake immediately trickled down to some minuscule size. And he posted some picture, and it looked like it was like that. So I was hesitant to buy the muffler. I was like, that can't be right. And sure enough, it wasn't right. It's not. I mean, it's reduced in size, but not like he said, not like that guy said, which is all bull crap. I like the looks of this. And for the Cadillac, it takes an offset input and a center output. So in addition to shocks and a new muffler, which hopefully will eliminate the drone at highway speeds. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing this weekend. So yeah, it's 70, 75, 80 miles an hour going down the interstate. You hear a pronounced V8 drone, and it's not really anything I want to hear in my Cadillac. So anyway, let's get busy and put these new pots on the Cadillac. All right, here we go. Time to do the nasty. Get with the program, Harris. Yeah, that was the easiest thing I ever did. All right, let's take some measurements, clean this thing up, and weld in the new muffler. All right. Old boss like the new boss, or new like the old, or something. I don't know. It's in there. I ain't showing you all that mess because my welding on an exhaust system is crap. I think I'm gonna blame the welder. Actually, I'm gonna do that. All right, let's fire this thing up and see how she sounds. All right, there we go. That is low idle, and you probably can't tell on the camera, but it is a lot quieter than the other muffler. It's just tremendous. And inside the car, it was so quiet. There's no drone anymore. It's really, really nice. So that leaves shock absorbers next. And I know this is exciting content. We aim to please around here. Anyway, we'll shut this thing down and get it back in the air and start putting our new shocks on. But I think I'll start that tomorrow when the other two get here. For right now, let's show you what's been going on up in the shop office. We'll just let the old caddy run for a minute. And I've been pulling the. So what you have here is what I like to call the pole barn garage version of Impalaman's Garage Shop Office. Proper drywall? Hell no. Luan, baby. Proper trim? Not really. This trim over here is more Luan. How are you going to fill your gaps? Spray foam. So there you go. Are you going to worry about butting things together? Not really. Overlap them, baby. Put screws in there and call it done. The only thing we got here is that's kind of nice, is a piece of glossy stuff. We'll use this and make lists for it in future videos. You know, exhaust, shocks, lose my mind, stuff like that. And we'll go ahead and put a TV up here too, so that'll be kind of nice. And an old desk I salvaged from work a few years ago that wasn't needed anymore. So yeah, it's the beginnings of something great. We're going to do a flat black wall. We're going to put a TV over there. I'm going to go with green AstroTurf carpet on the floor because I like to play golf. It makes me happy. And a few other odds and ends. It's going to be nice. You'll see. Hey, how you doing? New carpet for the shop office. All right, quick update. We got the office all sealed up. I got foam and caulk. Got the cracks in the floor all sealed up. Just finished chopping off the last of the foam on the floor. And I think right now it's time for a little black paint on this back wall and, well, try to spruce this pig up a little bit. So, yeah. All right, Big Bertha has got to get some diesel fuel for Talladega next weekend. So that's what we're doing today. Today is Saturday. I think we'll probably get about 45, maybe 48 gallons in here. It was a little more than halfway. It's a 100-gallon tank. So today's prices are pretty good, actually. $296.9 for diesel. Pretty good. All right, next thing on our agenda is a refill on the propane in the Big Bertha here. I don't guess I really have a name for this motorhome. But we'll figure out something. So yeah, we're at the Camping World, and there's a propane tank. So I'm gonna maneuver up here, and yeah, no pressure. Get my rear end here as close as I can to this propane tank, and then we'll run up inside the store down there and get some worker Johnny to come down here and pump the tank up for us. So there we go. We'll be back. All right, I think we got her maneuvered into place here. You have to, the door needs room to swing up. You don't want to bump into the poles here. And there's our filler hose there. I think we'll be good to go. Yeah, so if not, I'll fire it up and move it again. Pretty dusty underneath there. Need to clean that up. Well, the only thing about fueling up here at Camping World is the short walk you have after you pay. That's all right. So the Talladega preparation is well underway. We got all our diesel fuel, we got all our propane, and now I get to wash this big behemoth. So, but that's kind of fun actually. So man, it needs it. I tell you what, all the springtime pollen has gotten on it, and it's just a mess. You can see how, you know, we'll get that shined up though. That's mostly pollen and other stuff. So yeah, big girl needs a bath, that's for sure. Especially that area right up there where you can see the pollen is colored it yellow. Yeah, we'll get all that cleaned up. Every once in a while you got to take a break from wrenching, even though it's a hobby you love. You got to take care of yourself. All right, step by step, we ate the elephant. So yeah, yes indeed, almost ready. We're going to put down the green AstroTurf carpet roll that I have downstairs. Go down here. And got the back wall painted up, looks pretty cool. Gonna put a big old TV in the middle. You know, we'll add some decorations too. You know, maybe a couple of mirrors to make the place look bigger. It's only 12 by, let's see, this is 12. And let's see, from here to here, it is 15, I think. Yep. And 3 more over here. So I got a 12 by 18 piece of turf carpet. And I'll have to unroll it downstairs and I'll have to notch it here like this, and then we'll haul it up and tack it in place. And I'm probably going to get some cheap 1x4s, just some rough stuff. We'll make ourselves a baseboard with it. So yeah, coming right along. It was questionable there for a while, but it's going to be okay. You know how picky I am. Got our green AstroTurf into place here, and that was kind of a big job because that desk is really heavy and it had to stay up here while I did it. And I got number one son to help me bring the roll up. It's a little crooked, but you probably can't see it on the camera. So it fits there, but it's a little tucked up there. It won't matter. I'll just lop that off, put a baseboard down. It won't matter. So got a plan. Gonna go with some old barn tin, like find some old tin from a barn on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm gonna line this wall here, that wall, and probably below the whiteboard. Not sure what I'm gonna do with that back wall yet, however. So this stuff is brand new and it's been outgassing. It was really stinky when we put it in, but it seems to have calmed down now. So that's the leftovers. Probably put some on the stairs down, as however far that'll take me. So yeah, I'll staple it down. Baseboards, barn tin around the walls. So I don't know. I'm just playing it by ear. I'm just making it up as I go along. And for the air conditioning in the upper room, I'm going to go with this used LG portable AC units, 12,000 BTU. Picked it up on the Facebook Market. And going to cut a hole in the side of the office. That wall right there. Okay. I'm going to take that pipe. I'm going to run it out that way. And then I'm going to buy probably some flexible hose that maybe goes to a dryer or something, you know. And we're going to run it all the way over here, and we're going to dump it into the eave. And you can't see the eave. Well, you can. The eave's right there. They're vented, so, you know, that hot air go right out. So no big deal. Well, I might as well get started on these shocks. Got the 2 fronts in is all I have. And the 2 rears are, well, they're fairly unobtainium. These Gabriel Classics are apparently sought after. The 2 rears, Rock Auto didn't have them, had to cancel the order. The order wasn't making any movement, so I ordered some from Parts Geek. They were sitting around. I found some new old stock ones, USA made Gabriel Classics on eBay. I bought a set of those too. So I got 2 sets of rears coming in. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm hedging my bets. And I believe you're not supposed to take shocks off this way, but I'm not really interested in all that. I just want them removed. Alright, impact wrench, made quick business of that. Need 2 hands for that because I'm on the cell phone here. Let me pull that bolt out and yank that shock down. There we go. Man, the shocks come out of this car. They're just so stupid simple. OE Spectrum, you're fired. I mean, they're alright, but it's just a little bit too much of that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the front shocks on these old GM cars are just ridiculously stupid simple to swap out. Take me longer to put my reading glasses on than it does for me to figure out how to do this. And we put the little rubber thing on like that, don't you see? And then we have a little washer. And then we put the nut on. it's a flat right here. You're supposed to grab this with a wrench and keep that from turning, and then tighten this with another wrench. I guess, well, since these are the ones I want to keep, I guess I'll do this the right way. So let me get a wrench for that and a ratcheting wrench for that and tighten that down. So in the back, I still got the Monroe OE Spectrum. So if I bounce on it, immediately it settles in. It goes bounce and then settles in real rigid. These guys up front, of course I'm comparing back shocks against front shocks, so I guess there's a difference there. But if I go, yeah, the front doesn't do that. It has a little more, yeah. So that's kind of what I like. So no, the rear shocks are not going to get done tonight. Clearly they are not here. They won't be here until later on in the week when I will be at the Talladega racetrack. Well, there we go. One exhaust port for the air conditioner. Complete. Yeah, it's supposed to be 5.5. Yep. Yep. Doesn't have to be perfect. After I put 10 over this and probably a little bit of trim around the port, the pipe after it goes through the wall, it'll be fine. So, yeah, cool. All right. Have to get my razor in there and cut that insulation. I did some of it already with the saber saw. I used to call that a jigsaw when I was a kid, but I guess that's not really the technical term for it. I don't guess I really need a knife for that. Holy cow, how much insulation did I put in there? A lot, apparently. There we go. We just need to open a hole for it so we can run the pipe through. Up next, we'll have to get the air conditioner right there. Well, after I run the vacuum cleaner. All right, there, you know, typical GM shock absorber placement. I guess it's pretty standard for most other manufacturers as well. I got a one of those tripod things here underneath the axle, by the way, so shouldn't see any movement when we loosen that guy. 1/2 inch, 2 long extensions. And doing this on the driveway sucks. Let me tell you what. I'm sure you guys know all about that though. There goes my light. Try again. There's one. Kind of rusty. I think I might put some new ones on. Turn my headlight on. There we go. I've got to break it free there. Yeah, rear shocks are always the funnest. Funnest? That's a double superlative. No, not really. It would be most funnest. Not sure what that would be. Anyway, let's take the bottom one off next. Not sure what that is. 11/16. All right. Put that on there. And we'll feed her the beams here. Oh, it's on low. Let's speed that up a little bit. There we go. I think I'm about over my burnout. We'll see how it goes. Just put tools on the floor. It'll be all right. There we go. Let's go get the other one. All right, so we're going with a new old stock Gabriel Classic. And found it on eBay. So it came with this new hardware. And got a new stud on there. I think I'm going to go with that. Because, you know, this is, well, it's old and rusty. So let's put some new stuff on it. Yeah, make quid business out of that, didn't we? Yeah, I like that. You know what? I haven't even looked in the box for the new. I ordered this. I hedged my bets, you know, and ordered some from Parts Geek, brand new, and I ordered some from eBay, new old stock. I haven't even opened the Parts Geek box yet. We'll see how well we do when we open that box to see if it came with hardware. I'm assuming it did. I don't know, maybe not. All right, let's put a little, just, you know, we'll just put grease all over that thing. We'll drop our nut. We didn't need that anyway. We'll just put it on there with our finger. How about that? And we got a flat. Spreads out the force of the nut on that though, right? You know, you get it. It's just a shock replacement, Harris. These folks know they know what you're doing. Relax. All right, now we got this wire here. And I'm assuming these shocks are good. I haven't even tested them because they're new old stock. I like playing risky like that. All right, so those are 5/16 by 24. I don't have any of those in the shop, so I guess I'm gonna reuse the old ones. How about that? Clip our wire here. There we go. Not up there. Not up there. Up there. I was going the wrong direction there for a minute. Hell, that thing's too short. That's awesome. Doesn't even get up there. Why is that? Now I got to do some head scratching. Well, I guess I got to raise the axle some with my fancy thing here, or not. I'm at the end of my travel. Awesome. Didn't plan this out very well, did I? All right, I'll be back. All right, I got the transmission jack under that wheel. I got a lot of pressure over there. You got to keep it level, so I didn't do that. I should have done that before. It's been a long time since I did rear shocks, so made a couple of mistakes. Pardon the jittery camera. Anyway, so basically used the jack, got the shock up there and onto the two bolts that are hanging down. And the flange on these shocks, you know, it's a little tilty, right? So I got up in here with a long piece of metal and pressed on that side of the flange to tilt it that way so that the bolts could hang down. So anyway, let me go ahead and get those two nuts on there, and then I'll do the other side. Whew, man, it's about 20 minutes. 20 minutes later. And I had forgotten what a monumental pain in the ass rear shocks were. Not too far now, just enough to crush the lock washer and just a smidget on the rubber. There we go. Doesn't have to be, you know, just that's all she needs. All right, one set of Gabriel Classics installed on the Cadillac. You need supports when you do this, so on both sides of the vehicle, whether or not you're on the ground or in the driveway or wherever you're at. So keep that in mind. Oh, and by the way, I don't do this too often in videos, like warning, do not do what I do. Of course you're not going to do what I do because I'm a moron. But if you're going to do rear shocks on an old car, study up on it first. It's been years since I've done it, and I had to go, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do this, that, and the other thing. You know, oh yeah, go get the supports. Oh yeah, put supports on both sides. Oh yeah, it's a pain in the ass to get to the bolts. All those things. If you're going to do rear shocks on the back of an old car, it's not trivial, okay? The fronts, I did in literally 8 minutes flat. They're so stupid simple, it's ridiculous. Rears, not so much. Be careful. Oh yeah, and as far as the rear shocks go, I put them in late 2016, or was it 2017? I can't recall. But yeah, they've only got, these are brand new OEM Spectrum Monroes, and man, they're junk. They've only got 8,000 to 10,000 miles on them. Now, granted, they've been on there 8 or 9 years, but really? Let's see, this one over here, it's not as bad. Yeah, it is. So, whatever. USA part too. I mean, I guess this OE Spectrum line from Monroe is just junk. Sorry, Monroe. And that's what the new old stock Gabriel Classic box looks like. I'm really hoping these are going to turn out to ride the way I want them to ride. So part of my problem clearly was, though, the rear shocks were just well shot. But anyway, I'm gonna go with these. We'll see how well she does. So cool box. You know, those like boxes from back in the day were always cooler than boxes are now. Why do you have to make things crappy? Industry. You know, the industry goes, oh, we can't have a cool box anymore. It's got to be bland and boring. So let's take a look at this. This is from Parts Geek. And Parts Geek, man, the people that run their warehouse, they're on top of it. Man, they've always got parts. Ordered a bunch of stuff for the Mercedes from Parts Geek. So anyway, so this is what the Gabriel Modern Classic box looks like. It's whatever. I kind of like parts boxes. I'm kind of a geek that way, but whole point of this was to, I'm not going to return these. I'm going to keep them, put them in my parts cabinet. Because they just weren't a whole lot of money. Yes, they do come with brand new stud, so that's pretty nice. And these are Mexican made by our friends south of the border. And they look fine. But anyway, I just wanted to see, I figured they would come with the hardware kit, but I was just curious as to see if they did or not, that's all. We'll tuck these away and put these over here in the parts bin. Well, there you have it, folks. Not your usual fare as far as my videos go, but like I said earlier, I was a bit fed up with working on cars. So I had to take a little break and did quite a few other things that needed to get done around here. I finally started working on my office, and that was very, very satisfying. Also, we got some new shocks on the old Cadillac here. Finally got rid of that drone by installing a more quiet muffler. And I think she should ride really nicely, especially since the rear shocks basically weren't working at all anyway. But we're going to take a test drive maybe next week sometime, because right now I've got to stop, and preparation for the Talladega race starts right now. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the evening and part of tomorrow, because I'm headed to the track because there's a camping spot with my name on it waiting. All right, folks, I appreciate you guys stopping by the channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to be notified whenever I release a new video, don't forget to click that little bell down below. You guys have a good one, and remember to enjoy, well, not wrenching on cars once in a while, because if you do it too often, like anything you love, you might get a little burnt out on it. Yeah. All right, you guys take it easy. We'll see you next time.